The Spellcaster Sidekick from Tasha's Cauldron to Everything is perfect if you want to play a martial character but do a little bit of spellcasting, or if no one in your party wanted to play a healer. So in this video, I'm going to share my top 5 creatures for Spellcaster Sidekicks. Here we go. Hey, Bob here, and this is where we learn how to have more fun playing D&D together. Just like experts, Spellcaster Sidekicks are very versatile, but they must start with a CR of 1/2 or lower and must speak a language. At level 1, they take proficiency in Wisdom, Intelligence, or Charisma saving throws, and proficiency in 2 skills from this list, as well as light armor and simple weapons if they're a humanoid or they already use a weapon. And of course, they get spellcasting. But it's super important to note that this trait replaces any spells the creature already knows, so sorry to all the Pixie lovers out there. Spellcasters also choose a kind of subclass that determines the spell list they use and their spellcasting ability, but all 3 types go by spells known, so no preparing spells and no ritual casting. Otherwise, they function like any casting class, gaining more spells known and slots as they level up, and maxing out with 5th level spells at level 20, like the Ranger class. Besides ability score improvements, these sidekicks get 3 other features. Potent Cantrips at level 6 lets them add their spellcasting ability modifier to damage from cantrips, which is not even useful for the healer spellcaster. Then, all the way at level 14, they can add their modifier to damage and healing spells for a particular school of magic, which used to be at level 10 for Spellcaster Sidekicks in the Icefire Peak expansion adventures. And then at level 20, they cannot lose concentration from taking damage. Overall, they're a lot weaker than the original Unearthed Arcana design, which was basically a sorcerer without metamagic. I would have liked to see something between the Ranger and the Sorcerer, so I made my own spellcasting table and posted a link in the description. Let me know what you think of it here in the comments, and while you're there, remember to give this video a thumbs up if you're finding it useful. Likes, comments, and subs all really help to grow this community, and that makes me feel good, so thanks. My number 5 spellcaster sidekick is the Flumph. These small aberrations are native to the Underdark, and they fly, propelled by sputtering jets whose sound gives Flumphs their name, and their bodies glow, faintly reflecting their mood in their color. Flumphs communicate telepathically, they're very smart, and they sense the emotions of others, being drawn to goodness and repelled by evil. So this flying, glowing, telepathic, mysterious creature with dark vision makes a great friend. And they have +2 modifiers to Intelligence and Wisdom, with some natural attacks such as tendrils and a stench spray, and a very funny tendency to pass out if knocked upside down. Number 4 is the Pixie. Even though they lose their innate spellcasting ability to become a sidekick, I think this makes for a great roleplay moment, where the Pixie chooses to sacrifice some of their innate magic to become a true companion of the player character. Pixies are tiny, flying, stealthy fairies with +2 Wisdom and Charisma, who are curious but shy. They keep their magic resistance and superior invisibility, so they are still incredibly useful companions for scouting ahead. And don't forget those sweet Legend of Zelda vibes.
Hey, listen!
Number 3 is another fae, but a little more human, the Satyr. Specifically, the Satyr variant from the Monster Manual. Satyrs love to party, so while they may not be the best influence, they'll make a great comic relief sidekick and provide an excuse for a player to make silly decisions without spoiling the aesthetic of a more serious main character. Satyrs are fast. They have a solid armor class and hit points, and +2 charisma. They're resistant to magical effects, they have a few non-magical attacks, and the main reason I chose the variant over the normal satyr, they play the panpipes, and can charm, frighten, or lull enemies to sleep. Number 2 kinda breaks the rules. It's the sacred statue from Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. Basically, it is super duper powerful, and it's technically listed as a CR 0 creature on D&D Beyond because the book does not even give it a challenge rating. Because technically, it's inert unless it's possessed by an Eidolon, which has its own separate stat block. So, as written, it does work, but good luck getting your DM to allow it. Now, some honorable mentions. The Zvart Speaker, because they're small weirdos who are surprisingly good at shoving people, and they can talk to bats and rats, which is really cool if you or they get a familiar who takes that form. The apprentice wizard or acolyte for people who just want a boring humanoid sidekick. The Aarakocra for people who want a flying humanoid sidekick. Blink dogs because they are good boys who can teleport, be a mount for small characters, and add to your growing party of sidekicks from the Feywild. And pretty much any awakened swarm for their resistances and immunities, but especially spiders because you could just have a freaking bag of spiders as your sidekick, and ravens because how edgy is it to have an unkindness as your sidekick? Well, it's almost as edgy as the number 1 spellcaster sidekick creature, the Avatar of Death. Typically summoned by drawing the Skull card from the legendary Deck of Many Things, an Avatar of Death is a ghostly humanoid skeleton clad in a tattered black robe and carrying a spectral scythe. It appears within 10 feet of you and attacks you, warning all others that you must win the battle alone. The Avatar fights until you die or it drops to 0 hit points, whereupon it disappears. But instead of disappearing, what if the Avatar of Death becomes your friend, or death comes too early and just hangs out with you until the time is right? This makes for an incredibly fantastic relationship with its hit points and languages based on your own. Plus it can fly, it has true sight, it's incorporeal, and it has +3 to intelligence, wisdom, and charisma, so it's great for any of the 3 spellcaster subclasses, but please take a second and imagine having death as your party's healer. Now, what do you think of this list, and what creature will make the best warrior sidekick? Shout out to all the new patrons: Cantankerous, Jeffrey, Noah, Denoburo, Kyle, Frankie, Gary, Maggie, Tom, Alex, Jamie, Tate Torque, and Yay for Nuke. Thank you all for your support, and keep building.